This is a multi-day severe weather outlook for August 19th and August 20th. This is meteorologist Isaac Schaff with Illinois Stormwatch, and we'll be going over the expected severe weather and the risk areas, and we will also be going through timing and other key messages regarding this potential significant severe weather event. Here's the severe weather outlook for today. As you can see, the Storm Prediction Center has issued an enhanced risk for severe weather for sections of central Iowa, including areas around Ottumwa, Des Moines, and Ames. A slight risk also extends from areas around Iowa City and Cedar Rapids up towards areas around Mason City, Fort Dodge, Carroll, and Spencer. In addition, scattered to numerous storms are also anticipated during the heat of the day across Illinois. The main complex of storms will move through Iowa and Minnesota overnight and evolve into a squall line before approaching Illinois late tomorrow morning. Here's a severe weather outlook for Tuesday, August 20th, that's tomorrow. There is an enhanced risk for severe storms across much of the central, western, south central, into eastern and southeastern sections of Illinois, generally between Interstate 80 and Interstate 64. This will include areas around the Quad Cities, Kankakee, Galesburg, Peoria, Bloomington, Champaign, down towards areas around Springfield, Effingham, Olney, and Mount Vernon. A slight risk for severe storms also extends down towards Vienna, Carbondale, Marion, Harrisburg, and St. Louis, and areas around up towards Aurora and Sterling. A marginal low-end risk for locations around Chicago, Rockford, and areas down towards Cairo, and areas as well as areas around Galena as well. Here's the HRRR guidance, or one of the models we use, from around 7 a.m. this morning, starting at midnight tonight. You can see this loop here, and here's my guidance note about this. Thunderstorms will initiate over northwest Iowa and southwest Minnesota shortly after midnight tonight as a warm and moist mid-level southerly winds or a strong flow aloft build extremely high amounts of instability into the region. With modest shear developing as this tracks southeast, this is forecast to develop into a squall line as it tracks through Iowa into areas around western and central Illinois tomorrow morning. There is now an enhanced potential for severe storms once again along the leading edge, especially with destructive outflow wind gusts expected, and the strongest updrafts combined with the strong westerly flow aloft will give way to a potential for very large hail locally, with some over 2 inches in diameter. Given the relatively weaker low-level shear present, isolated tornadoes will be possible. However, we're not anticipating any outbreaks. Again, the threat is currently low as of right now. More discrete storms, given stronger instability, would be centered over south central into eastern sections of the state, because this is during the afternoon, given the high amount of heat energy. And as you can see, as what just happened in the loop here, the storms became more discrete. That means the extreme amount of instability in that region. And as you can see, that's when it happens. As it gets closer to the Ohio River, the line will break into some discrete thunderstorms, but this will no longer be a squall line. It'll break into a broken cluster of thunderstorms as we lose the instability then. With downdraft gusts and large hail still being hazards a little ways after dark. So here are the key messages regarding this severe weather event. A significant severe weather event in the form of damaging winds, and again, this is a very strong appendix ahead of this. So again, the leading edge may produce some very strong winds over a long distance. So again, this could be close to a derecho-like event. And once again, kind of the key message here is that thunderstorms will evolve out of Iowa and Minnesota and merge into a squall line and track through Illinois tomorrow morning and afternoon. And once again, we'll see the brunt of that instability over areas around south central, southeast, into east central Illinois, as well as into Indiana and into the along area north of the Ohio River, where a brunt of the instability will happen as the storms track through during the afternoon. Again, the later in the afternoon, when the temperatures are well into the 90s, again, I'm pretty sure that's what the forecast is calling for. That's going to really cause some very strong upscale development and more discrete storms, and that's going to be some really that's going to really factor in to produce some very strong updrafts and very large hail, perhaps, in addition to that very high downdraft gust event. And also that's going to be where we're going to be watching for a few tornadoes as well, or again, this is a low threat once again. So here's our timing message here. Again, we're mainly looking at 8 a.m. to noon for locations along and west of the Illinois River. So this would be western and into central Illinois, and areas around 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. For locations between the Illinois River and areas around Interstate 57 and 70, including much of western and southwest parts of Illinois, or getting close to there around St. Louis, and up towards areas around Interstate 57 in eastern Illinois. And now we're getting to noon to 5 p.m. This is locations south and east of both the Interstate 57 and 70 corridors, so this would be the rest of southern and southeast parts of Illinois. And once again, the main hazards will be destructive outflow gusts between 60 and 80 miles per hour, and we're also going to be watching for that chance for very large hail. Some of this could be locally larger than golf ball size. And once again, there is a low threat of tornadoes, but we're not expecting a tornado outbreak because these storms are not going to be as discrete, or not really much of these updrafts are really reaching the surface. These are more elevated storms away from the surface. However, again, with the very high downdraft energy, we could be seeing some recurring updrafts. And again, with that chance for outflow downdraft gusts 60 to 80 miles per hour, again, we could be talking about some pretty large tree branches being blown down. So if you live in an area where tree branches may fall into your home, you may want to avoid upper floors. And if you live in a mobile home, you could experience damage with winds these strong as well. And also be alert for the potential for very large hail that is possibly larger than golf ball size. So again, this is where we start seeing significant damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles that are not protected by garages or anything that's above it that will protect it or substantial. So again, you may want to park cars in garages ahead of this. Again, the largest hail would I would rule out over areas southwest of the river, or southeast of the river rather. So again, that's where a brunt of that instability is going to be during the afternoon, or wherever storms track through during the heat of the afternoon. That's going to be when storms are going to be really the strongest. So again, please be alert to that. And there is again that threat for isolated tornadoes with this, especially mainly for areas southeast of the river, where the storms track through in the afternoon. So again, if a tornado warning is issued, or if you are told to take cover, again, basement, the center of the basement, or center of the lowest floor is fine. If you don't have a basement, again, get under a piece of sturdy furniture, bring a blanket or something to cover you, and bring a flashlight, some non-perishable food and water, again, for your while you're taking cover. And again, this is a low threat of tornadoes once again, so we're not really expecting a tornado outbreak, but still, if you're in a mobile home, you want to mitigate to a more substantial shelter, because this is kind of the stronger winds, or winds at this magnitude. Again, some of this could be over hurricane force. We could be talking about some significant damage to mobile homes, and to vehicles as well. So do not be driving during a severe thunderstorm either, especially if you're in a high-profile vehicle trying to beat those 60 to 80 mile per hour winds, especially on those northeast to southwest oriented roadways ahead of this, on the leading edge of this line. And also, we could be talking about some windshields, especially when the hail gets pretty large. So again, please be alert. And again, it's not safe to be driving during any kind of severe weather. Again, we will be keeping you up to date on our Facebook page. Again, it's facebook.com/S. We will be putting that link in our description here. And also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be doing most of the streaming over Facebook. So again, we'll please go to the link in the description to refer to our streaming here. We're going to be working on YouTube streaming in the future. And please stay tuned and stay safe. Again, this concludes our multimedia event briefing. We will have more briefings posted as per priority, so please stay tuned to our social media, and we will see you soon. Stay safe.